It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast on this, the 30th day of May, 2025. Coming to you from my studio in Forest, Virginia. Today's show is brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scootaround, and by Chillie's Cruises. We have several things to cover today, a couple things to catch up on, and we do have a few news stories today. The headlines for this morning: the cruise industry sues Skagway. Delta adds a solo surcharge. What? Carnival guests banned for a TikTok post. Solar eclipse 2027. Also today, tropical storm Alvin forms. First of the season. Sitka voters defeat cap proposal. And it's a little bit of talk about Legionnaires outbreaks and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. All right, guys, today is National Mint Julep Day. Even though I'm a bourbon drinker and have been all my life, I am just not much of a mint julep kind of guy. Oh, when I'm like at the Kentucky Derby, yes, I'll have one just because you have to. But that's not my favorite drink by any stretch of the imagination. This day in history: in 1922, the Lincoln Memorial was dedicated in Washington, D.C. So, one of the 3 memorials to visit when you're in D.C. If you're a podcast person, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. All right, a couple of things to cover this morning. First of all, this comes from Hot Air Tom. It seems that he had a bit of a rough night last night. He said it was a busy time there for about 45 minutes. His alarm went off with a tamper alert. He didn't find anything wrong, so it must be a bad electronic part. But his cell phone treated the call from the alarm monitoring as spam and did not ring. The poor neighbor lady came running over at 12:20 a.m. to check on us. She's the backup for the alarm going off. Call from the monitoring folks. I called monitoring and they didn't mention the police were dispatched. About 12:30 a.m., the doorbell rings, 2 police officers checking on him. And all that while Hot Air Tom is running around in his underwear. I didn't need to see that picture. Sorry about that, Hot Air Tom. All right, to catch you up with Nate. Nate is in Auckland, of course. He posted yesterday that the flight, was a 17-hour flight. It was, I believe, Auckland Airport was his 109th airport that he's flown into. A 17-hour flight from New York. He said it's the longest flight he's ever been on. So he didn't make any other comments about it. I was kind of hoping he'd post something about it, but he hasn't yet. But, who knows? Maybe he still will. Now, you also got to keep in mind In Auckland, New Zealand, it's tomorrow. And by now, let's see, it would be probably it's tomorrow evening. So he might have already sailed. I can't keep track of the time and the date. Yeah. So he might actually be on the Crown Princess now on his way on the World Cruise. So I had no idea on his time. I did send him a link just in case. But I have a feeling he's either has sailed or getting ready to sail. So hopefully by Monday we'll have something from Nate, something to go on. As I plan to follow this along pretty closely. All right, so let's see, Tom and Nate, and oh yeah, Fraser. Where's Fraser? There's Fraser.
Hi everyone, it's cruise day for me down in a very sunny and warm Southampton. I've just boarded Balmoral for an 8-night Scandinavian cruise with my mum, who you were quite far away from me there. With my mum, who you might remember from Valletta a few weeks ago. This is cruise number 2.
Yep.
Excited?
Very.
Where are we going?
Sweden, Norway and Denmark.
That's right, and we also have the Kiel Canal on the itinerary of this cruise. So follow along for so much more from our ports, the ship and everything else in between. Should we go and get a drink and get this cruise started?
Definitely.
See you out there.
Yeah, Fraser and his mom going to get a drink. I like the way they cruise. So, and I could listen to Fraser talk all day long. So that's great. Of course, his mom's got the same accent. The Scottish brogue, I just does something. Maybe it's because I've got Scotch blood. I don't know. But anyway, we'll follow Fraser some too. The other thing I had was Rochelle got back from. Let's see, she was in India and South Africa, and a couple days ago she was in Cozumel. So she's back sailing again. So we'll be trying to keep up with her some too now. So we'll keep up with everybody we can as we go along. All right. It's time to get to the news portion of today's show. But first, let's take a quick break from one of my fine network sponsors. Be back in a second. All right, we're going to start off Friday's Travel and Cruise Industry podcast from up in Alaska. Cruise lines are taking legal action against Skagway over a change in the way it will tax revenues on local shore excursions. It applies a local sales tax on tours that start and finish in Skagway. Recently, a change was made to how Skagway calculates the tax. It charged tax based on the value of the tour billed by the operator, but not including the commissions cruise lines added to the cost and charged their guests. Last year, Skagway passed an updated ordinance which now taxes excursions at the full retail price, including the commission cruise lines add on. The borough said this is a fair tax policy, but the cruise industry strongly disagrees. Industry group Cruise Line International Association this month filed a lawsuit against Skagway lawmakers in Alaska State Court. It named Skagway's borough manager and treasurer as defendants. CLIA claims the ordinance is double taxation and puts undue financial strain on cruise guests and Alaska businesses alike. It said Skagway wants to tax all cruise line tour commissions, including those booked online and from any global location. Stephen Mahoney, an Anchorage-based tax attorney, said the cruise industry's double taxation claim is valid. The U.S. and Alaska constitutions say municipalities may only tax activities that have a substantial relationship to that community. Skagway Borough Manager Emily Deach said the Skagway bottom line is that Skagway made this change to treat tour sales by the cruise lines the same as other sales of products and services within the municipality. The CLIA lawsuit is seeking the removal of the tax for the commission element of the tour cost and wants compensation for its legal expenses. This is the filet or tenderloin from La Cucina restaurant on the Norwegian Epic. While I was on the transatlantic on the Epic, I sampled fillets from all of the specialty restaurants. And in my opinion, La Cucina's was by far the best, way better than Cagney's. There are reports circulating around that the filet on La Cucina has now been replaced by a New York strip steak. I hope those reports are inaccurate, because that would really suck. Am I allowed to say that on the air? If I'm not, just erase it. But that's what I really think about it too. I'm not a big fan of New York strips. I love my fillets. And La Cucina's was so good. Oh man, was it good. This is from an article written by Gary Leff for View from the Wing. Delta Airlines now sometimes charges you more if you're traveling alone. Add a second passenger and the fare drops. It's written right into the fare rules for some of the least expensive fares that you must be accompanied by someone else on the itinerary to be eligible for the lowest price. This may be a new way to segment business travelers in order to charge them more, but solo travelers are leisure travelers too. This quirk in the airline's pricing was first reported by Thrifty Traveler. Delta has begun charging solo passengers more per ticket than travelers booking for 2 or more on selected flights. For example, Delta's charged at least $199 for one passenger on a particular flight from Minneapolis to Miami in early September, but searched for 2 passengers instead, and the price dropped significantly, just $118 per person. While it's not widespread, this discount for 2+ travelers, or price penalty for those flying solo, doesn't appear to be a glitch. Delta indicates it's by design in its arcane fare rules, where airlines carve out requirements and exceptions in order to sell tickets at a certain price. Airlines have done more than just about any industry in price discrimination, charging different amounts to different customers. They will take almost anything for a seat they're going to fly anyway, but that would otherwise be unsold. The cost of adding an extra passenger to a flight is almost zero. There's no extra fuel. There's not much in the way of catering or in computation. Meanwhile, once a plane takes off with an empty seat, that seat can never be sold again. But they don't want to sell the seat for less than someone is willing to pay. If a customer will pay $499 for a seat, there's no reason to sell it for $99. So they want to sell for $99 to the most price-sensitive customers, while selling the same product to less price-sensitive customers for $499. Historically, airlines separated out leisure travelers to offer cheap fares to, and business travelers to charge exorbitant prices to, based on things like Saturday stays, round-trip requirements, and advance purchase rules. Those largely went by the wayside for domestic itineraries as ultra-low-cost carriers gained prominence and didn't impose those same restrictions. Airlines could not hold price for last-minute business travelers when discounters offered the same itineraries cheap. So airlines came up with basic economy to segment their customers. Price-sensitive customers get inflexible tickets, boarding last, so they waste time checking carry-on bags and have to sit at baggage claim and get the worst seat assignments. Meanwhile, business customers pay more and get the usual experience that they are used to. They hard-coded the logic that more than one passenger on a reservation meant that it was a leisure trip, not a business trip. And while business travel is more likely to be ticketed separately, even if employees are traveling at the same place at the same time, that's certainly not exclusively the case. So Delta could be experimenting with one more way to offer their cheapest tickets only to leisure travelers traveling together and keep business travelers from paying less than they're willing to pay, since they're booking separate tickets much of the time, even when two employees are traveling together. Solos. That was supposed to say solo travelers, solo supplements on airline tickets. Yeah, that's not cool. A couple other things that I needed to point out yesterday. Some of you know that was my twice a year oncology day. So I did the usual thing, and I go in there, and of course they have to take blood, and that's what I get when anybody takes blood from me. Humongous bruise. And then I got the Lupron injection. And, I don't want to be politically incorrect, but it's a shot in the butt. And it's not a particularly good shot in the butt. It's a humongous needle, like, go big, and it's about that wide because the crap is like really thick. And it's got to have a pretty good sized needle to get that stuff in there. And so, so my butt hurts. It hurt all day yesterday and last night. So I usually don't have a reaction to the injection, but it's kind of knocked me on my butt yesterday. So anyway, I'm back feeling pretty normal today, although I woke up at 2:00 this morning. This is a little bizarre. All right, let's go on with some Carnival problems. A previous Carnival Cruise Line guest with a vibrant TikTok following has been banned by the cruise line after posting a video showing an alleged alcohol smuggling hack. TikToker Courtney Murley thought she had a clever trick for her Carnival cruise, and she decided to share it with the world. Now, instead of viral fame from the hack, she's sharing a very different kind of social media post, her lifetime ban letter from Carnival. It all started with a video Marley posted earlier this year, allegedly showing her and a travel companion successfully sneaking alcohol onto the Carnival Conquest. The TikTok post, which quickly racked up hundreds of thousands of views, showed the cruisers taking their luggage into the cabin, seemingly revealing liquor hidden in the toiletry containers. The letter clearly stated that her cruising days with Carnival were done. This letter is to inform you that you will not be able to sail aboard any Carnival Cruise Line vessel in the future due to the smuggling of alcohol on board the Carnival Conquest on March 31st, 2025, and subsequently posting about it on social media platforms. Your attempt to book a future cruise will result in cancellation and a possible loss of deposit monies. Merle has since tried to backtrack, claiming her initial video was satirical and that she never actually smuggled alcohol, but rather showed juice in a tampon flask for views. What I'm mad about is that they are banning me for something that didn't happen. They said for smuggling alcohol. I did not smuggle alcohol. Not 1 ounce of alcohol was smuggled onto the ship. Not one. Not a single drop. What you see on the video is not alcohol. Is everything in the internet real? Merle stated in her follow-up post. However, the damage was done. For Carnival, the video itself promoted a clear violation of their policy. Therefore, the ban. I don't have a problem with that, quite frankly. But I guess that's just me. On May 29th, Holland America announced an exciting new lineup of cruises that will be taking place during a solar eclipse, allowing passengers to be in the line of totality on August 2nd, 2027. The excitement around viewing a total eclipse of the past few years has been palatable, and we jumped at the chance to create more itineraries that give our guests the incomparable opportunity of viewing the eclipse at sea, shared Paul Grigsby, Vice President of Deployment for Holland America. Grigsby also shared the vessels being on the ocean at the time of the eclipse are ideal for viewing, as the crew can attempt to reposition if cloud coverings block the view. The first of these newly added voyages will take place on the New Statendam and will be a 20-night round-trip itinerary departing from Rotterdam on July 27th, 2027. This will be the longer of the 2 cruises available to view the eclipse and will include 13 stops at ports in France, United Kingdom, Spain, Denmark, Portugal, Gibraltar, Morocco, and Portugal, with overnight calls in London and Barcelona. New Statendam will be positioned off the coast of Morocco for the viewing of the eclipse on August 2nd, as the line of totality runs through North Africa. The second of the newly added sailings will take place on the Oosterdam, which will be doing a 14-night round-trip itinerary out of Athens, departing on July the 31st of 2027. This shorter cruise will first head to the coast of Tunisia for the viewing of the eclipse, after which it will call on ports in Tunisia, Italy, Malta, and Greece, with one extended call in Valletta, Malta. Both of these newly added cruises will provide guests with the opportunity to experience the maximum totality of the eclipse, and will also offer lectures and opportunities to connect with scientific experts. Beyond that, passengers will get to enjoy themed activities, as well as being provided with proper equipment, such as eclipse glasses, for safety reasons. The 2 newly added cruises join a growing list of eclipse-focused voyages offered by Holland America, as there will be 3 others happening during the 2026 solar eclipse, including 13-night, 28-night, and 35-night itineraries on Oosterdam, New Statendam, and Zuiderdam. Beyond adding the 2 new cruises that will allow guests to view the solar eclipse in 2027, Holland America also announced 3 new voyages that will allow passengers to view the Northern Lights. All 3 sailings are happening at the end of 2027 and will have 14-night round-trip itineraries out of Rotterdam or Dover. The first of these voyages will depart on October 3rd, 2027 on the 2,600-passenger Rotterdam, which will call on ports such as Bergen, Alesund, Tromsø, Lekne, and Andalsien in Norway, with the addition of Trondheim as a late night call, and Alta. Additionally, the ship will call on Lerwick in the Shetland Islands before disembarking in Rotterdam. The two sailings available on New Statendam will be embarking on October 16th and November 6th, which will be doing the same itinerary. Ports this ship will be stopping at include Aalesund, Andalusny, Lekne, Tromsø, and Kristiansund, with the addition of Trondheim as a late night call, as well as Alta as an overnight call, all of which are in Norway. All three of these cruises will include special experiences that come out of Holland American Line partnership with the History Channel, which allows guests to experience a destination's history on a deeper level through enhanced shore excursions and activities. Both the solar eclipse and the Northern Lights cruises are open for booking as of this week. If you're interested in any of those, just give me a call, 434-258-9264. Sail on Holland America. The Scoot-Around Transatlantic Special. You've got less than 2 months left to get the huge savings on mobility rentals on transatlantic crossings. Rent a mobility scooter for just $125. That's a $395 value. Or a manual wheelchair for $60. It's a $225 value. This offer is good for one-way cruises, sailing from U.S. ports to any of the following: Amsterdam, Barcelona, Copenhagen, Rome, or Southampton. Just give us a call at Scoot-Around, 888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137. At Scoot-Around, Transatlantic Special. Following the holiday weekend, a storm system in the eastern Pacific has been gathering strength, with Tropical Storm Alvin becoming the first named storm of the 2025 season in the region. As of Thursday, May 29th, the National Hurricane Center reported that Alvin was located approximately 670 miles south-southeast of the southern tip of Baja California Peninsula. The storm is moving northwest at 10 miles per hour and has maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. While the National Hurricane Center anticipates the storm will dissipate within the next 3 days, it also illustrates a path that reaches Baja California's Cabo San Lucas in the early morning hours of Sunday, June the 1st, and may affect cruises there. Carnival Cruise Line's Carnival Firenze is sailing to Cabo from Los Angeles and is expected to call on May 31st, possibly being affected by bad weather due to the storm. It will spend June 1st at sea as it returns back to California and may still be within the storm's reach. The storm could also affect nearby cruises sailing to Mexico's western coastline, including Puerto Vallarta and Mazatlan, which the cruise line's Carnival Panorama recently visited with up to 4,000 passengers on its way to La Paz, Mexico, on the 29th. The 2025 Pacific hurricane season begins and is forecast to be near to below average, according to the National Oceanic and Administration. That means forecasters expect fewer tropical storms and hurricanes in the region this year. That could be good news. There will be no daily or seasonal limit on the number of cruise passengers visiting Sitka, one of Alaska's most popular port of calls along the state's pristine Inside Passage, at least for now, following the rejection of a ballot measure on May 28th. By a huge margin, voters in Sitka gave a thumbs down to a citizen petition that called for a $4,500 per person per day cap and a 300,000 annual arrivals cap. Voted down heavily. In recent years, the general public's become more aware of the health risks inherent to cruise travel, particularly the spread of contagious illnesses in semi-enclosed environments such as ships. However, less widely understood is the health hazard posed by hot tubs located on private balconies, an increasingly common feature aboard newer vessels. The CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, has been actively educating cruise operators about the potential for Legionella bacteria to proliferate in these hot tub systems. Unlike illnesses spread through close human contact, Legionella is transmitted through the inhalation of contaminated water droplets. When the inhalation of contaminated water droplets allows the bacteria to thrive, such as an inadequately maintained hot tub, it can lead to Legionnaire's disease, a severe form of pneumonia. While the incidence of Legionnaire's disease among cruise passengers remains low, the presence of private balcony hot tubs on modern ships introduces a growing area of concern. These tubs tend to see less frequent use and consequently may not receive the same level of routine disinfection and maintenance as their public counterparts. This inconsistency in upkeep can create an environment conducive for bacterial growth.
Be on one of the first MSC ships to go to Alaska when we sail May 25th, 2026 on the MSC Poesia round trip from Seattle. 7 nights going to Ketchikan, Icy Strait Point, Juneau, and Tracy Arm Fjord, and a stop in Victoria, Canada on the way back to Seattle. Inside cabin start at $849 per person, balcony from $1289 per person. The MSC Poesia going to Alaska. Why not join us? I promise you we'll have a great time. Just call me, 434-258-9264, and we'll cruise with Chillie to Alaska.
All right, that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. Let's go over and see who's in the chat room fussing at me. And yes, some of you might notice that I had to add a little oxygen here today. So nothing greatly unusual about that. All right, so start off with who's in the chat room today. Charles says, can we be friends? Certainly. Glad to have you with us. Hot Air Tom says, thank God it's Friday. Kelly. Wait, I lost that one. Kofi. Kofi says, hello, boss. Well, not really, but thank you. Steve's with us out in Kentucky. Katie's with us. Hey, Katie. Katie's about done with work, getting close to it. She'll be heading off to the island here shortly. Kenneth's with us. Says, everybody looks like next week, Chillie, it's going to warm up. You can get in the pool. We had a meeting since I last talked to you guys. And the pool guy says, just tear the building down. It's not going to hurt the pump. It's perfectly capable of staying outside. So we're going to go ahead and open the pool. And then when Stanley gets back from vacation, he's going to schedule some time to get started on it. We got an electrician coming when he's the day that the building's actually going to get torn down, so they can, turn the electricity off and get it safely established on a pole, an outdoor pole. And then we're going to build like a dog shed over the pump so that let's make it look nicer. So that's going to be happening for the rest of the summer. But supposedly they're going to have the pool open and ready for next week when Jason and Katie come. Although I don't know if they'll get in the pool when it's that cold. But Amanda says she's ready to get in it now. So who knows? Anyway, so that's bringing you up on the pool. Bob's with us. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Bob. There's Joanne. Says happy Friday. Steve says mint juleps are a waste of good bourbon. I completely agree. I completely agree with that one. I don't care for them. I drink bourbon anyway, other than that. So, Hot Air Tom says you must have missed the Chillie's pool. House is needing replaced. Pool is going to be late opening. Yeah, well, that's changed now. It's not going to be. It's going to be open here shortly. It's just the pool house. That's probably going to take us into the summer before we get it really fixed up out there. Kenneth says, wait a minute, I lost Kenneth, whatever comment. Kenneth and the reports on the New York Strip and Casino are that it's very small and nasty. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, Kenneth said he missed. That's okay. I got back to where he was. He missed the report on the pool before. Let's see. Jamin's with us. Hey, Jamin, how you doing? Says happy Friday. Great. Kenneth loves Cagney's prime rib. Oh yeah, I mean I'm not saying anything against like the filet from Cagney's. It's delicious. I just thought that La Cucina's was better than that. There's enough difference between apples and oranges comparing the filet with prime rib. I love the prime rib from Cagney's as well. But it's also, as I've gotten older, I'm eating less. I might also say, folks, I don't usually get to say this because I'm a big fat guy. But my weight yesterday was as lowest it's been in probably 25 years, maybe longer. I'm not particularly trying to, but I'm watching some of the things that I eat. And that's good. I mean, I could stand to lose 30, 40 pounds. Maybe I could breathe better. Kenneth asked about the drinks package for MSC and why they were so expensive. He priced it the other day. It was like $900. You got to break that down. I don't know how many days you're looking at, but break it down per day per person. So if you've got to price it for both you and Robin, take the amount, divide it by the number of days, and divide it by 2. And that'll give you a daily fee for each one of you. If it is, $40, $50, or more, then you want to seriously look at the drinks package. If it's a lot less, you want to seriously look at the drinks package. So that's what I do. And the last time I was on MSC that I bought a drinks package, it was a whole lot cheaper than that. So it could be that they've raised prices too, Kenneth. I mean, everybody has, and they're constantly changing prices, and that's one of the areas that they do. It might also be something we start watching for a special that a run, some kind of special good deal on stuff that's already booked, and see if we can't get it a little cheaper. In the meantime, the next time I talk to my girl at MSC, I'll bring that up and see if we can't do something about that for either of our cruises that we've got with MSC. So let's see, where was I? Hey, Tom, did you book the Norwegian gym yet for January 20th? Then you'll be real close to Port Canaveral. Hot Air Tom says you can't beat NSL $30 per day fee. $30. Yeah. So at $15, oh yeah. That's just $2 a drink. I mean, 2 drinks. 2 to 3 drinks. Well, I definitely do more than that. But yeah, if you can get one for $30 per day, you got to jump all over that drinks package. Princess, for that price, you get free internet, plus you get unlimited specialty meals and the whole drinking package. That's like 10 different things you get for the same price. I was surprised. MSC is so high. The Princess Plus package, well, the one of the packages is $60, and I believe it's going to $65, and the other's $90, and it's going to $100. The more expensive of their 2 packages. $60 a day. That's right on the borderline. That's 4 drinks. If you go to 5 drinks, you need the package. If you can get by with 4 drinks or 4 non-alcoholic drinks, then maybe you don't want the package. The last 3 Princess cruises I've been on, I got the Princess Plus package. I did not have it on one of the Norwegian cruises that we've just done. And the last MSC I was on, no, I believe I did have it on the last MSC I was on, but it was a good deal when I booked it. Hotter Tom says, how did that needle I posted on your Facebook post on the shot compare to the size of the actual shot? It was a hell of a shot, Tom. It was about that long, and it was, well, I don't have anything at this needle size. For needles, it was fat. I mean, it was enough to definitely feel it going in. The little skinny things that we get most of our shots in today, you really don't feel them. I mean, this, as bad as that looks, it was just a little prick. I bleed terribly. But the shot in the butt, it was pretty stout. It was a pretty stout needle. Let's see what else we have here. Kenneth, mum's the word on my solution to smuggling liquor into the cabin. Yeah. I've never talked about that on air, Tom, or will I. And it's great it worked. I'm certain that that was a mistake. That would not be the regular thing. So, boy, people do the stupidest things just to get the attention. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought, lady, are you nuts? To number one, to do something that's clearly against the law or against the rules, and then to brag about it online. I'm not surprised she got busted. And I don't feel bad for her at all that she got banned. That's just me, like I said. Todd says good morning to everybody. Hi, Todd. On October 26th, we have 4 7-day cruises on breakaway from Boston in the same cabin. Last cruise ends in San Juan. Might need to try that plan again. Oh, okay. When you get the chance, Tom, send me that. I'll look at it. Chillie's Cruises, I just checked Cruise Mapper. Crown Princess is docked in Auckland at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure what time they were supposed to sail. Do I have that? I might have that. Let me look real quick and see if I have a say. Oh, so yeah, it's not till 10 o'clock tonight. It doesn't sail until 10 p.m. So that would be 10, 7. It's tomorrow, and I think it's 7 hours. Tomorrow and 7 hours. So that would be 3 o'clock this afternoon before it sails. So that means he's probably on the ship or getting ready to board the ship. But yeah, it doesn't sail till 10 o'clock tonight. Wow, that's a late sail away. But then I've never done one of these cruises. Maybe that's normal for a world cruise. Yeah, that's when you don't have the hot tub hot enough. Yeah, 90% of the time I go in, they're way too cold. Yeah, I agree. But I just think I don't know. I'm just having, of course, I have trouble getting in and out of hot tubs, so I don't get in them very often. Amy's with us. Good morning, Amy. Ship to Shore Cruise News. Hey, says, hey, Chillie. How you doing? Good to have you with us. There's Elizabeth. Elizabeth on location says, happy Friday. I'm packing. I will be watching next week from Kelowna, British Columbia. Then I'm off to Barcelona on the 10th. Hot Air says, happy travels to Spain. Which ship will you be on? She's going to be back on Valiant Lady. Not Valiant Lady. Now I don't remember. Elizabeth, which ship are you on? See if she has time to answer that. She might. She was just there, so. Tell me, Elizabeth, which ship are you going to be on? Scarlet. Oh, you're going to Scarlet Lady again. Okay, Scarlet Lady next. That's the old girl for Virgin. That was their first. All right. Well, I'm sorry your vacation got cut a little short for you, but make lots of money and maybe one of these days we'll sail again. They need a Lady Diana. Well, that might be coming up. Who knows? All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for the weekend. As always, thanks for being here. Don't forget, Smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. That'll help the channel out a bunch. And we will continue on. Hopefully by Monday, we'll have some reports or several reports, hopefully, from Nate on the World Cruise. Well, also, you might want to check on my blog, which I'm going to be keeping everything going on the blog as well. So we're going to cover Nate as much as we can. So that's going to wrap it up for this Friday. As always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas like a bunch of us have this year already. In the meantime, guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.